Let me be honest with you. There is a silent wealth transfer happening right now, and nobody is talking about it openly. It is not a stock market crash. It is not a housing bubble. It is the quiet, steady destruction of the middle class through inflation. And here is the harsh truth. If you are between 35 and 60 years old, doing everything you were told was right, you are the primary target. You saved, you worked, you invested in your education, but the finish line keeps moving. The life you thought you were building is being stolen not by a single event, but by the relentless erosion of your purchasing power. Today, I am not going to sell you hope. I am going to give you a clear, sober look at what is happening and exactly how to protect your family before 2026 makes it worse. Most people don't realize this, but the financial rulebook we inherited from our parents is completely dead. For decades, the formula was simple. Go to school, get a stable job, buy a reasonable house, and save 10 to 15% of your paycheck. If you did that, you were guaranteed a comfortable retirement in your 60s. That formula does not work anymore. Let me give you a real-life example. Think about a typical couple. Let's call them David and Maria. They are in their mid-40s, both working good professional jobs. On paper, they are earning more money than their parents ever did. But every month, they feel this silent anxiety. They look at their bank account and see a good number, yet by the end of the month, it vanishes. They aren't buying luxury cars or designer clothes. The money is disappearing into groceries that cost 60% more than they did 3 years ago, insurance premiums that rise faster than their salaries, and the hidden cost of simply maintaining a middle-class life. The mistake David and Maria are making is not that they are bad with money. The mistake is that they are fighting today's inflation with yesterday's strategy. They are passive. They think cutting back on a few lattes will fix a structural problem. Let me be honest. Frugality alone cannot save you when the currency itself is being devalued. The practical solution here is to stop thinking like a consumer and start thinking like a producer. You need to anchor your wealth to hard, productive assets. I am not just talking about buying random stocks. I am talking about owning pieces of infrastructure, companies that produce essential goods, or real estate in markets where people are moving for jobs. When the cost of everything goes up, you don't want to just have cash that shrinks. You want to own the things that are causing the price increases. Now, let's talk about the single biggest wealth trap for people over 40, the illusion of the paid-off home. This is a controversial one, and many people will disagree with me, but hear me out. Imagine a man named Robert. Robert is 55. He followed the old rulebook perfectly. He celebrated when he made his last mortgage payment. He thought, I am finally safe. I own my home free and clear. But Robert is not safe. He is illiquid. His property taxes keep climbing. His maintenance costs are skyrocketing because the house is aging. Yet, all of his wealth is locked inside those four walls. He is house rich and cash poor in an inflationary world. The mistake here is confusing shelter with a financial strategy. A paid-off home gives you emotional security, which is valuable, but it does not inflation-proof your lifestyle. The money sitting in those walls is not working for you. It is sitting there, dead, while the roof slowly leaks and the foundation cracks. I am not telling you to go out and get a massive, risky mortgage, but you need to understand the opportunity cost. The practical solution is to unlock that equity and make it mobile. This could mean downsizing right now, not in 10 years, to free up capital. It could mean using a very conservative, manageable line of credit to invest in an income-producing asset that pays for the loan and then some. Most people are terrified of debt, and rightfully so. But in an inflationary environment, you want to be a debtor of long-term, fixed, low-interest money and an owner of assets that inflate. Robert's house inflates in value, yes, but he can't eat the bricks. He can't pay his medical bills with a shingle. You have to separate your net worth from your liquidity. Another area where I see people quietly failing is the blind trust in the traditional retirement account. Let me paint a picture of Susan. Susan is 48, a diligent saver. Every month, a chunk of her paycheck automatically goes into her 401k or pension fund. She looks at the statement once a year, sees a big number, and feels a sense of relief. But Susan hasn't done the math on what that money will actually buy in 20 years. She is confusing a number on a screen with future purchasing power. The mistake is assuming that the tax-deferred growth will outpace the true rate of inflation, not the government-reported rate, but the real inflation of things you need, like energy, food, and healthcare. If your retirement account is growing at 7% on average, but your real cost of living is rising by 9 or 10%, you are mathematically losing. You are saving for a future that does not exist. The practical tip here is to look for tax-efficient ways to diversify outside of these traditional wrappers. I am talking about income-generating assets you can touch now. If you can't access the money without a penalty until you are 60, you are trapped. You need a bridge account. This is a non-retirement investment account filled with assets that throw off dividends or cash flow today. It gives you options to quit a toxic job, options to take a year off if you get sick. In 2026, liquidity is survival. Do not lock all your wealth behind a glass wall that says, "Break only after you are old." Let's do a quick reality check. This is the part of the conversation that might make you uncomfortable. The harsh truth about money that nobody in the government or the banking industry wants to admit is that inflation is not an accident. It is a deliberate, quiet default. Governments with massive debts cannot repay them in hard, valuable currency. So they create more currency, diluting the value of yours. This means that if you are a diligent saver who follows the rules, you are the one paying for the debt. You are the one being punished. Accepting this reality is not pessimistic. It is the first step to fighting back. You are not a victim of economic forces. You are a participant who just hasn't been given the right information. Once you accept that the system is designed to slowly transfer wealth from savers to borrowers, you can stop playing the losing game and start playing the real one. So, what do you do right now? Here are your action steps. They are simple in concept, but hard in execution because they go against the herd mentality. First, audit your cash. If you have more than 6 months of living expenses sitting in a savings account earning less than 1%, you are burning money. Move the excess. Second, buy assets that humans cannot live without. Energy, agriculture, transportation, and shelter. If the world stops buying luxury watches, the economy keeps moving. If the world stops buying food, it collapses. Position yourself there. Third, develop a secondary skill that is inflation-proof. Your salary is your biggest asset, but it is being diluted. A side income that you control, whether that is consulting, a trade, or a digital product, gives you a personal hedge against a stagnant paycheck. Here is your call to action. I want you to leave a comment below, but not just a generic one. Tell me this. What is the one thing in your life that has gone up in price the most this year? Something that shocked you when you saw the new cost? Write it down in the comments. Reading those entries will show you that you are not alone, and it builds a community of people who are waking up to this reality. If you think your friends or your siblings are still sleepwalking through this end-of-the-middle-class scenario, share this video with them. Maybe it will start a difficult but necessary conversation. And finally, hit that subscribe button. This is not about me building a follower count. It is about you keeping a continuous, honest stream of information coming to your screen that has no interest in sugarcoating the truth. We are going to navigate this decade together, but you have to choose to listen. Stay sharp, stay liquid, and keep thinking clearly. I will see you in the next one. Now, before we wrap up, I want to address something that keeps people stuck even when they know the truth. It is not a lack of knowledge. It is the fear of looking foolish in front of family and friends. Most people stay in a dying financial plan because they are terrified of being judged. They don't want their brother-in-law to call them crazy for selling the big house. They don't want their parents to ask why they left a good job to start something on the side. They stay quiet, they stay compliant, and they slowly sink. Let me be honest with you. The middle class is not just an income bracket. It is a mindset. And that mindset often includes a dangerous cocktail of politeness, conformity, and a deep need for social approval. If you want to inflation-proof your life in 2026, you have to be willing to be misunderstood. You have to be willing to drive a modest car while your neighbors lease luxury vehicles they cannot truly afford. You have to be willing to say no to expensive dinners and yes to buying more assets. This is not about deprivation. It is about intentionality. It is about looking at your bank statement and knowing that every dollar is serving you, not impressing someone else. There is a phrase I use with people I advise privately, and it usually stops them in their tracks. The question is this: are you earning a living, or are you just financing a lifestyle? Think about that for a moment. Earning a living means your money is creating freedom, security, and options. Financing a lifestyle means your money is just passing through your hands on its way to someone else's pocket. The landlord, the car company, the credit card issuer, the insurance provider. Everyone gets a slice of your paycheck before you do. The harsh reality is that most people over 40 are not earning a living anymore. They are financing a lifestyle that exhausts them, and inflation is making that lifestyle more expensive every single day. The only way out is to reverse the flow. You must start paying yourself first, not with leftover scraps at the end of the month, but with a fixed, non-negotiable percentage that goes straight into your bridge account, your hard assets, your freedom fund. Call it whatever you want, but fund it before the government, before the mortgage company, before everyone else. Let me share a final scenario with you, one that I think about often. Imagine two men, both 60 years old, sitting in a coffee shop. The first man, call him Michael, followed all the rules. He has a retirement account with a nice number on it. He has a paid-off house that needs a new roof. He is waiting for the right time to retire, but that right time keeps getting pushed back because the cost of living is higher than he planned. He looks tired. He complains about politics, about taxes, about the younger generation. He feels cheated. Across the table sits the second man, call him James. James made different choices. 20 years ago, he stopped trying to look rich and started trying to be free. He bought a small rental property when nobody thought it was a good idea. He built a consulting business on weekends. He invested in boring, dividend-paying stocks that give him quarterly checks. James is not a millionaire on paper, but he is rich in cash flow. He sleeps deeply. When the price of eggs goes up, he notices, but he does not panic. The difference between Michael and James is not intelligence. It is not luck. It is the willingness to act on information, not just consume it. So here is what I want you to do today, right after this video ends. I want you to take one single sheet of paper. Draw a line down the middle. On the left side, write down everything you own that costs you money every month. The storage unit, the subscriptions you forgot about, the second car that sits in the driveway, the insurance policies you don't understand. This is your drain list. On the right side, write down everything you own that puts money into your pocket. Not theoretical gains, but actual cash you can spend. If the right side is embarrassingly short or empty, do not feel shame. Feel clarity, because that piece of paper is not a verdict on your past. It is a blueprint for your next 5 years. Your only job from this moment forward is to shrink the left side and grow the right side. Not someday, not when things calm down, starting now. In 2026, the world will not wait for you to feel ready. It will keep spinning, prices will keep rising, and the quiet transfer of wealth will continue. But you do not have to be a willing participant. You can step off the treadmill. You can be James instead of Michael. I want to thank you for staying with me through this entire conversation. I know it has been heavy. I know I did not promise you easy answers or instant riches. That is not what I do. What I promise you is honesty, clarity, and a practical path forward. If something I said today resonated with you, if it made you uncomfortable in a productive way, I want you to hit the like button so more people can find this message. And more importantly, share your thoughts below. Tell me which side of that paper is heavier for you right now. Let us build a community of people who are done with the illusions and ready to face reality together. If you are new here, subscribe and turn on the notifications. I release content every week designed to help you keep more of what you earn, grow what you keep, and protect what you build. The middle class, as we knew it, may be ending, but your story is far from over. In fact, this is where it gets interesting. I will see you in the next video. Take care.